Welcome. Welcome to High Frequency Radio. Beautiful morning. It is now January 23rd, 2013. I'm your host, Yusef with my co-host, Paul David Savage. How you doing this morning, bro?
Doing marvelous, my brother. Yourself?
All right. We come to you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we give you the information that the others won't. Teach you how to get out of these situations that you find yourself in. Because we are involved in a changing world, closely closing in on a new world order. And today we have I put together a pretty nice show for everybody today, man. I'm going to go over the top 10 YouTube videos that you could watch.
I like that.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to talk about the top 10 videos. The reason why is because, you know, I want to give people access to some things. Oh, they can just research things on their own, you know. Because, you know, we got a diverse group of people out there, and some people may like to hear me, or some people may find some of the things are hard to believe. But I think what it does is it helps expand people's consciousness when they are aware that there are people all over the country going into court, fighting their situations. People are waking up slowly but surely. I mean, this is just not something that Yusef is just on his blog talk spitting, you know, just talking. I mean, what is this dude talking about? And for all our new listeners out there, and that's another thing, you know what, man? Blog Talk sent a message saying that if you're going to call in, there's a new number to call in. And if y'all out there listening, they said because they're having technical difficulties, the number is 213-943-3434. Oh, no, that's not it. I'm sorry, that's not it. No, everybody, y'all calling the same number. I'm tripping. No, they saying it's the same. No, okay, the number is the same. I'm sipping. Y'all ignore that. Y'all have to call in that number. Ignore that number. They sending me messages. They sending messages on the screen on Blog Talk. They're having some technical difficulties, but everybody else is okay. But anyway, man, what you got for me this morning, man? What's going on in the world? You know, I've been watching.
There's too much going on in the world. Madness.
Yeah, it is a lot of madness going on. I was watching a video somebody sent to me where the police had drugged this girl out of her house, and you know, they were dragging her on the ground. Everybody in the neighborhood is watching. You know, you got a lot of videos like that on YouTube where the police are, you know, engaged in a police brutality, dragging somebody around because they didn't come pay a traffic ticket or something. I mean, you know, I know the chick didn't kill nobody or nothing, but, you know, the way that they were treating her, you would think that she did kill somebody. And these were plainclothes officers. And, you know, a black man, you know, dragging his girl, and he was dragging her so hard on the street, her clothes were coming off. You know, her pants had come all the way down to her ankles. And everybody was just, you know, they were taking photos. You know, everybody nowadays, you know, when they see something, you know, everybody, you know, pulls out their camera phone and takes a picture of it or videotapes it. You know, like the man who got hit on the train, you know, he was trying to climb out of the thing before the train hit him, and then people pulled out their video cameras and video recorded it instead of helping the man get out of the off the track. It's very interesting, you know.
Yeah, their level of concern is extremely malplaced. They are misguided.
You know, that was wild. I'm like, wow, I had to think about that. I'm like, man, I mean,
volumes, man. That speaks real volumes as to the dehumanization of our society.
Yeah.
Someone in danger doesn't instill in you a spur to assist or aid, but rather to make spectacle, catch the moment. You know what I mean? The programming of our humanity has been tremendously evolved. Sad. That's some really sad. That's some sad shit.
For real, it was crazy. It was crazy. But on a brighter note, you know, I've been practicing this diet. I'm gonna do a show on some health issues too. And I've been eating this raw food, you know, nothing but fruits and vegetables. And the reason why, because I'm gonna explain. I think that has something to do with what's going on too. I've been kind of in a meditative state, you know. I've been sitting back, you know, because to get into some of this stuff, you gotta kind of be in your, you know, your third eye gotta kind of be open, and you gotta be vibing on a different frequency. That's why I call this high frequency. And you know, I started, you know, I'm doing all of this work. I'm reading all these documents. I'm watching videos. I'm reading books. I'm in the law library. I'm doing all these things, and I'm searching for answers. And everybody out there is searching for an answer, you know. People who are fighting foreclosures, you know, they got websites up. They have all these documents, you know, that they want you to submit. But I see very little, you know, talk about the spiritual aspect of a lot of this stuff that we're doing. And I read a scripture in the Bible. I'm gonna bring the Bible up into this because I think it was very pertinent, because the Bible has some very good things in it, you know, good principles that I think people just can't miss because they so much into religious mode that they don't catch the little nuggets and the little jewels that drop. And it was a little verse where Jesus, he said the only thing that you could, I think it's Mark 9:29. This dude was possessed, and the disciples couldn't save him. This also goes to show you how they be changing the Bibles too, because you know you have a lot of Christians out there that say they don't change nothing in the Bible. You know, and you know, and that right there to me is a testament of extreme ignorance too, because they do change things in the Bible. They change it all the time.
So listen, they don't change things in the Bible. Because, you know, you have in some verses in the Bible, they'll say that this kind can only come out by prayer and fasting. And then in other Bibles, it'll say this kind can only come out by prayer. Now, which translation of the Bible is correct? You know, it's like you got some Bibles that say one thing, and you got some Bibles that say something else. Somebody changed something. You know what I'm saying? You know, now we have to find out who changed it and why. You know, why would they take that out? You know, it's like, okay, what was it about this information? Did somebody give out too much information? You know, because I've been studying the power of prayer and fasting. Both work. They're both very powerful. They have nothing to do with religion, your religious affiliation. But I just thought it was interesting. But I took that verse and I kind of started to build on it a little bit. I was, you know, I was thinking about it. I said, well, you know what? I said, I was even watching a movie, this little cartoon movie recently came out, Hotel Transylvania. And in there, and they give you little jewels even and stuff like that all the time. The vampire in the movie, they was asked, well, why do you not suck on human blood anymore? And he was like, well, you never can tell where human blood has been. And then, and so I did some studying on, extraterrestrials, because I study everything. I do. Some people are like, he studying extra. Yes, I study extraterrestrials, and I found out also that, these Greys, they don't like to abduct adults because they don't know where their blood has been. They usually, like to take children. That's why all the children are disappearing, because, the extraterrestrials are supposedly take children because their blood is clean. So then I started, researching into, health. And I found out that human blood is very similar to chlorophyll that you find in plants. And that the only difference between the two is that chlorophyll has magnesium. It's dominantly magnesium, and blood has a dominant element of iron in it. That's the only really difference. But at one time, we had the dominant element was magnesium in us, and you can look on some of the pyramid walls, and you'll see that some of those Egyptians are not really dark-skinned. They are green and turquoise and a lot of things around the world. But anyway, this started to somebody put in the Decepticon about. This started me to investigating. Is somebody in the chat room named Yusef?
That's me.
Oh, it's you. Okay. All right, my bad. It is a Decepticon. But what happened was this. I started looking into blood and started checking it out. I started reading all this research on, blood and how our food, our blood is created by the type of food we eat. And then, I was looking at verses in the Bible where it says don't ingest blood, and it says that the spirit was in the blood and in the semen. And, I just started paying attention to all this stuff, the blood, talking about blood. And then when you start studying the law books, there is a legal word, and I'm going to put that in the chat room. It's called corruption of the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And what corruption of the blood is that once your blood is corrupted, your blood can be corrupted by being convicted of a crime. It's very, very interesting. People should read the definition. It's for many different reasons, but it takes away your civil liberties. You are considered civilly dead. And these are some things, I started paying attention to in it. But the main thing I started really, really looking at, I was saying, wow, look at, these foods we're eating. We're eating all these artificial foods. And I started looking at the ingredients on the foods, and I started thinking, well, wow, what is so different about this is not much different from witchcraft. I mean, they're just changing the names and giving all these names, these names on the back of these ingredients, these technical terms, instead of saying, yeah, we need one cattail, a rat's paw, and and a cow tongue, and we're gonna mix it all together and make some type of potion or some type of spell. So, I started thinking about all of that. I was like, well, wow, and notwithstanding the fact that I was looking at some of the ingredients that they feed prisoners in prison in some of the little Kool-Aid type drinks. There was this chemical called procylidin or something like that. It's I can't even pronounce it correctly. But it's a chemical that they put in. They got these cool-offs in Georgia that they give to prisoners. It's like a little Kool-Aid type thing that you can buy off the commissary store. And I started investigating the chemicals in it, and one of the chemicals in this particular Kool-Aid
attacks the nervous system. So, I was like, well, I'm saying, why are they feeding people all this stuff? So gradually a picture started to form in my head, and I said, even out here on the street and in prison, it seems like they're trying to poison people and kill them. And our life expectancy is not what it used to be. It's we right now we kind of think that we are supposed to live like 75 years and so forth, when the Bible clearly says that we're supposed to live to be 120. In Genesis chapter 6, where it says, "My spirit shall not always strive with man, for his days shall be 120 years." So, and there are people on the planet right now who are living 120 years. So it was just all of these type of things I started to put together, and I started making a connection with it with the law, because, like I said, I was locked up, and I told the judge I was not a heathen, and they brought me some pork, and I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, I was seeing that. What it was is I started to see that it wasn't just what everybody thought it was. See, everybody has this tendency to think, oh, these are the laws, you either follow them or you break them, and that's it. It's kind of like that type of mindset that everybody has. But then when you start studying the court system, what you're going to find is that our court system descends from the ecclesiastical courts. I've been in, actually, you go into a church, and if you really pay attention, and if you look at your church and you go inside of a courtroom, look at a courtroom, you'll see they are very similar. And the judge is wearing a black robe, just like you're a preacher. They bring a Bible in there for you to swear on. All this stuff, and then when you look in the Bible, you'll see that the original judges were the priesthood. Even in England, the church was the one that convicted everybody and tortured people, and the Christians, they were into torture. And the Dark Ages is what they call it. When only the church, they would kill you. They would ask you to read a passage out of the Bible, and if you couldn't read it, you was going to get death. They picked something like out of Psalms or something like that. So a lot of crazy things were going on back then. But all of this stuff is rooted in Scripture. And I'm thinking also that it has a lot to do, because when you see in these Scriptures, they talk about defiling the body a lot. Defiling the body. So I started doing a little research into fasting and raw food diet and different things like that. I've lost about 30 pounds, and I feel great. I mean, I really do. I'm feeling great with the 30 pounds, and I'm eating plant food every day, but it works. It does work. For all of you out there who are interested, maybe you get some strawberries, bananas, and some blueberries, and some almond milk, and get you a blender, and every morning just blend that and drink that every morning. And it takes a little while, about 30 days, but eventually, once your intestinal tract starts to clean itself out, you'll start to experience a lot of weight starting to fall off. In particular, when I used to fast, and I'll throw this out here in fasting, this is another thing why I don't listen to people. Because fasting's no good for you. You're all these people. People have been fasting for thousands of years. The hell is wrong with you? You don't listen to these so-called doctors and everything. When you fast, for a man, it takes 72 hours for him to go into ketosis. For a woman, it's 48 hours. And ketosis is a state where the body starts eating off the fat or living off the fat that's on the body. And you will lose anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds a day, depending on how heavy you are and depending on how toxic your body is. The toxins will start leaving your body in your urine. You'll see it coming out in your tongue. This is why your tongue is white. because doctors that's why they look at your tongue. You look at a person that has a real white-coated tongue, that person is very toxic. You don't need to be tongue kissing them. Yeah. It's nasty. I think, But, bad breath. You go into the bathroom and you're using the bathroom. But after you do a fast, having to wear deodorant, all these are just toxins coming out of your body. And more so, from decaying flesh that's inside your body and everything. So you are not really a purified entity, and therefore, why would a Holy Spirit come and descend in something, like that, like a temple that is unclean? And then you want to come into the temple. Like I said, a lot of the, it's real interesting here in California, in Pasadena, a lot of the major streets, and people need to start paying attention to this. Your courts and your offices and everything, they're located on streets like Temple Street, Wall Street. We see the names of these streets and we don't ever pay attention to them. But you got to understand that these guys who are doing all this, they're like Masons and, Skull and Bones, Illuminati, Shriners, Rosicrucians, all these different entities, Knights Templars. These individuals, they do everything with a purpose. If you look at Washington, D.C., it's laid out. Benjamin Banneker designed it. He was a Mason. And, it's designed with a purpose, mathematically precise. So they don't just do anything for no reason. Even your court dates follow some type of astronomical type pattern when they set court dates, because I believe that they set court dates because they need to bind. Like when they were doing me, they would set my court date like specific every time, and I was thinking that, it must be something about these days where they feel like they can bind me on these days or something like that. It really is. I know it may sound crazy to y'all out there, but when you get real deep into this, when you start studying this thing, you're going to find that you're going to have a need to start studying esoteric information too. That's why when you look on the Bilderberg group and all these different things you see out here, they're involved in all these child sacrifices, all this stuff going on in the private, because these wealthy people and intelligent people, the higher they go up to the ladder, the more they get into esoteric type activities. Nancy Reagan was in, studying the stars and all these things. They have meetings out at Giza on the beginning of every year. These people are into these things. They're following this stuff. And I do believe it begins and ends with, a study of your your own physical body. And watching the foods that you eat, I think, is one of the major things you need to start considering when you want to go to the next level. You're going to reach a level in this information where just reading every day is going to only take you so far. You're going to have to delve into the spiritual. Like I know when I was going through my ordeal, there was one verse I used to read in the Bible all the time. It would say, do not worry about what you're going to say when you go to court. Because when it's time for you to go in,
you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm pulling it up right now on the internet because I'm going to try to post that link. Yeah, Luke 12:11. Luke 12:11. It says, when you're brought before synagogues, rulers, and authorities, do not worry about how you will defend yourselves or what you will say. And then Luke 12:12 says, the Holy Spirit will tell you what to say, for the Holy Spirit will teach you at that time what you should say. So I'm helping a lot of people around the country, some of them with criminal cases and things of that nature. And everybody just concentrate on paperwork. What is the paper? Can you give me the magic paperwork? Can you teach me the magic words? That's what everybody wants. They want the magic paperwork and the magic words. And that's kind of like idol worship. Because you're depending on something outside of yourself to do something for you than what is exuding from you. You're demonstrating fear, and fear is definitely a very, very hard emotion to overcome. It's false evidence appearing real. You almost have to be put in a corner where it's either fight for your life, it's either fight or die, until you just get tired of just being afraid. You can get tired of being afraid. Some people can just get tired of being afraid. You can reach that point where you just snap. I reached that point where I snapped. Somebody was calling me and they tell me, hey, brother, I got to give it to you. It's real brave of you to come on the internet and say some of the things that you say over the air like this. And it's like, I'm looking around and I'm seeing a lot of these other shows, quite frankly, just saying a lot of bullshit. They just telling y'all some straight up bullshit. Either they don't know or they some type of agent that's put out there to put you on the wrong track. And that's why you always hear me talk about the 4 principles. Remember, they apply to everything. There isn't any money. Public and private do not mix. They don't ever mix it. Don't you ever mix it. Stay in honor at all costs and do not participate in public plays. You want to stay out of the court, but if you come to court, do not participate in their plays. Do not traverse those charges because it's just a stage play. And I know some of y'all don't believe that because you haven't been deep down in the pit enough and looked behind the curtain of the wizard to see it. But I'm telling you some real stuff. So the show we got today is from research I've conducted all over the internet, and it's stuff that I feel like I can share with you that you can have immediate access to. You ain't got to go out and buy nothing. You ain't got to go to the library. You can get on your computer, pull up YouTube, and watch it for yourself. That's the type of stuff I like to give out to people. Because, a lot of people, they'll be like, well, man, why you give out this information, man? Some people shouldn't have this information, yada, yada, yada. A lot of times when y'all deal with these attorneys, I'm telling you, when these attorneys find out that that you know this stuff and you know what you're doing and you're telling people, they're going to say, I don't really think that you should be telling people this stuff. Not everyone should have this information. I know I got some attorneys out there listening. That's what they're saying right now. He's just giving out too much information. Everybody shouldn't have that information. And what they're referencing is, we do have some people that should not have this information, i.e. killers, i.e. rapists, child molesters, all the people who, violate, the 7 deadly sins. But those people only make up a very, very small percentage of the crimes that's hanging out there. So I always fire back at them, and I say something like this. I said, it's okay for you to arrest somebody and hold them in jail 8 months, take away 8 months of their life over some bullshit. A victimless crime where they haven't even hurt anyone. Or hold them in jail 2 years. Like the brother Elijah Yisrael, who held in jail for 21 months, somebody stole the house, knowing good and damn well there's not a bank in America that can prove that they own anything. But you're just going to hold a man in jail. So all that shit is okay for you to do. Just run over everybody's rights and treat them like criminals. All that's okay. It's okay for you to form bonds and buy and sell people on the stock market. It's okay for you to kick families out on the street and steal their houses knowing good and goddamn well you haven't loaned out a single dime to anyone. That shit is okay. That's okay. That's okay for you to sit up there on the bench knowing what you're doing and still try to prevent people from accessing their remedies. That's okay. For you to lie, for you to deceive, for you to steal, and for you to kill. Because you rolling up on some people, shooting them and killing them. Just because they want to protect their rights. That's okay. That's what you tell these attorneys and everything when they find out what you know. I had an attorney tell me one time. He told me this in private. He said, Joe, he said, man, let me tell you. He said, we can deal with you. He said, it's the angry ones we can't deal with. So I'm like, well, so I'm like, okay, what do you mean we? First of all, what is this we? And then I thought about that, too. I thought about it. I said, some people find out this information, they get mad, and they start doing some crazy things, blowing up buildings and things of that nature. Doing crazy stuff. And that may be the reason why they give psychiatric examinations as well, because, they may need to make a determination, okay, this individual has access to some very serious information. What type of person are we dealing with here, Because Timothy McVeigh and all those guys, they supposedly had found out all this information. These some patriot guys, and they came in and, they became enemies of the state because they was like, hey, we're not having it. This is a de facto government. These people don't have any authority. They're running over us. No. That's what's going on behind the scenes a lot of times, and y'all see all this stuff, on these videos, people maybe start shooting somebody over in D.C., and you notice you never get to interview none of these people. They never get to tell their side of the story of what has happened. They just get, the news media just demonizes the individual. A lot of these individuals are finding out some serious information about what's going on behind the scenes on the private side. So today, like I said, what I have lined up for you is a list of the top videos on YouTube that you can watch. Hey, Nefertiti, what's going on? How you doing? See you out there in the chat. Vivian Lee, all my other guests in the chat room, I see you. Yeah, we're going to get it in today. But before I do, let me take a phone call real quick. Have somebody with their hand up. Area code 601-6713. You're on High Frequency Radio. Had a question?
Hey, Yusef, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? You all right?
I'm trying to get into Power Talk. The chat room. Do I go to the Power Talk Express? What is your room name?
Okay, well, no, dear. I'm not on Power Talk. I'm on Blog Talk. I'm on blogtalkradio.com.
Uh-huh.
And then you do /high frequency. Do you have access to my Facebook or, because
yes,
I put
I'm one of your friends.
Okay, well, you go on my Facebook, you'll see the link. All you have to do is just click on the link, and it'll take you right there. And you'll see the chat room and everything on there. And you just click log in, and you can log in with your Facebook account, and it'll put you into the chat room.
Okay. Well, I want to also thank you for the information that you sent me to my email address.
You're welcome.
One quick question, though.
Mm-hmm.
Being that this is new to me and I'm learning each day, you were saying something about to have a business account or credit, rather, business credit. I wanted to start off with something like selling like jewelry and lip gloss, buy it at a wholesale and just have like parties and stuff and invite, because I know a lot of people that actually work at like nurses and stuff like that, and by networking through those people, I can have put on a little jewelry show or whatever. So can I start it off like that, my business account like that, just something small until I learn about this, get all of this information, and then, as I progress.
Baby, you can do whatever you want to do. What you do is, when you set up all of your stuff, yes, whatever you want to do, you can do it. You just need to get your infrastructure set up properly. You got to understand, everybody out there, everything in the public side operates through corporations. Everything does. So that's why you might as well just get a corporation. Everybody out there should have a corporation. All the wealthy people I used to have as clients, one thing I noticed about all of them, they all had, they didn't just have one corporation. I go and talk to these people, they have 15, 20,
corporations that they got. I mean, and they don't have any they're not brick and mortar, meaning they don't have, a physical address that you can go to. Now, but you should have a corporation. You should have an EIN number, and you should have a Duns and Bradstreet number. You should start off with those basic things. And once you get that, yes, you can go open your bank account in your business name. And you should get you a business line. And if you really want to get fired with it, you can do something like get you a virtual office. And get your virtual office. It costs about $150 a month, but you can go to these office buildings. They all have them. And that'll give you access to mail at the office. It'll let you use the conference room and whatever other amenities that they have to offer to their participants. But you definitely want to do something like that, because when you start to establish business credit, for a new business, what they are looking for is they are looking for you to at least have a business line. And as I told y'all on another call, you can call AT&T or one of the other carriers and get what's called a business forwarding line, where you can get actually another phone number, a business number, and have it directed to your cell phone.
Okay.
Very, very inexpensive, but what it'll allow you to do, it'll put you in 411. Now, there used to be a website where you could just put your cell phone into 411, and that's very inexpensive. And you just sign up there, and they'll put your cell phone number in information. That's something else that you may want to consider. I'll have to look up their website. I don't remember it right offhand. But Vivian, I'm going to look for it. I'm going to check my Facebook. I'll look for it, dear. That's going to that's how you want to start off. And now the book I sent you gives you a list of all of the businesses. Now, that information may be a little dated. That's why I gave everybody the creditboards.com. Because at that particular website, there's just everybody's in there is giving information, telling, hey, you can apply here. It's everybody all over the place is just giving the information on how you can stay abreast. Matter of fact, they had a while back, they had the actual instructions in one of the rooms that tells you how to establish your business credit. It came off of that particular site. Everything in that book was coming off that particular site right there. That's where that person who wrote that book got it. They just took everything off that site and put a book together and gave it out to everyone. But the whole key to the whole thing is finding out what businesses offer business credit to new businesses. And they're not going to give you a lot of money. But some people were getting like $10,000 from Dell Computer, back in the day. This is not recently. The Home Depot. The goal is to get you 5 so you can establish what, a paydex score. Now, if you've already been doing business and you have some business accounts open, you can utilize that also. Dun & Bradstreet will try to sell you some things. You do not have to buy anything from them. They'll come in and say, hey, $500, we'll do this for you or do that for you. You can build business credit on your own. You do not need Dun & Bradstreet to assist you in building business credit. But what I would definitely advise everyone to do is to look at business credit, because everything on the public operates through a business. Even when you think it doesn't, it is. Because your straw man or your franchisee, that all capital letters name, is a corporation. That's why it looks so ridiculous when you watch like a video like Freedom to Fascism from Aaron Russo, where everybody's on there saying, well, we can't find a law that says that you have to pay income taxes. Well, there's no law to pay income taxes. They don't tax private individuals. They tax corporations.
Right.
They tax business entities. And that is what they're doing. They're just not letting you know that. And it would be just ridiculous to argue with them about that, because there is no money. This is another thing. See, this is the type of stuff that misleads people and sends people down rabbit trails, because when you watch these videos, they are very well put together, very well researched, but they're off point and moot. And that's why they keep losing in court, because these people don't understand how to conduct their commercial affairs. Everyone out here has the ability to create money. You have the ability to create money. Every time you sign something, you're creating a negotiable instrument. You are being viewed as a merchant. because you use Federal Reserve notes to discharge your debt instead of creating your own negotiable instruments and creating your own bank accounts. Instead of going to the Treasury Department directly, you keep going through these intermediaries, i.e. Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and you're allowing them to do things for you because you can't do it for yourself. And they're asking to be paid for that. That's what service charges are all about, and interest, and all these different things. You're paying for your convenience and also for your laziness. So that would definitely be where you want to start. Getting a business is very simple. All you need to do is decide what you want to call yourself. You can use your name as a business. You know, I can say Yusef LLC. Attorneys do that. A lot of attorneys incorporate their name. And then you can get, and you do a check with the county, make sure that there's no one else that has that name. They do a name search. And then you get your EIN number from the IRS, and then go open you a bank account. That'd be the first thing I would do.
Yeah,
take it in there.
That email that you sent me on the 17th, the one about learn how to successfully build business credit, it was very informative.
Yeah, and that's where that a lot of the information in that book came out of creditboards.com. That's why I gave people that particular website. But it is a very, very informative book, and someone actually gave that to me a couple of years back, and so I've held on to it for quite some time. But that is some good information for people out there to you need to start thinking about, because people are not thinking properly. See, we like to think we need to own stuff. I got that in my name, not knowing that having something in your name is the bottom of the barrel. You don't want to have nothing in your name. Owning things means liability. When the police pull up behind you and run your license plate, that need to say so-and-so and so-and-so trust or so-and-so and so corporation or something like that. That's what needs to come up on their screen when they pull you up, when they try to pull you over, not your name. Preferably, it needs to be in some type of trust. That's what you want to have. But you can have corporations and all these different things, too, and you can arrange your affairs. I'm not going to tell everybody how to arrange their corporations and things of that nature, but these are things that you can do. There are also some things called shelf corporations. Now, you have what's called a shelf corporation, and you have what's called a shell corporation. A shelf corporation is a corporation that you can buy that's already in existence. A lot of people like to buy Nevada corporation, because these corporations can run you anywhere from $5,000 up to $100,000. A lot of times they've already been set up by attorneys. They already have their EIN numbers, their Dun and Bradstreet numbers, their Paydex scores. Everything's already been set up for you. But that's something that people may want to consider also, because Nevada and Delaware are the best places to incorporate in the United States if you're going to do it domestically. But you definitely want to research shelf corporations. You can Google that, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people out there selling shelf corporations for particular purposes, for business purposes. But definitely you also want to put together your business plan, put your ideas on paper, decide what it is that you want to do, and then go do it. I mean, do whatever you want to do. But I tell you this, think big, Think big. Think how you can help your fellow man. We, and especially in the black community, everybody thinks about, putting together beauty salons, barber shops, car washes, all those typical things there. Try to think outside of the box and think a little bigger. It's kind of like in the movie industry. Every time we do a movie, it always had to be some type of movie that we do about relationships. And then, why don't somebody come out and think about doing a sci-fi movie? or something, or some type of historical movie showing the Egyptians, and why everything got to be we ain't doing picnics and family get-togethers and comedies and everything. We always seem to be in some type of box where, black people is what I'm talking about. Well, and in some type of box where we just gonna be doing these particular things. We're already restrained to these things. So think outside the box. You'd be surprised at some of the ideas that people are getting wealthy on. I'm talking about billionaires. Simple ideas that people are getting very rich on. Nothing too complex. So if you're going to do something, think about how you're going to do it on a big scale, And that's what I'm going to talk about also later on in the show, is how we can all get together and create an income stream because, we got to start channeling the money through our hands. People are not channeling the money through it. That's why the top entity that you can utilize to operate business in is a trust. But people don't understand that the name is literal. It's called a trust because you need to motherfucking trust somebody. You got to do that. But okay, sister. Yes, you can do all of those. Hopefully, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. And so now I'm trying to log on to the chat room.
Did you find you did find it though?
No, actually, I'm still trying to look it up. I'm at work too, so.
Oh, okay. Well, go on my Facebook page and just click on the link. You'll see it right there because I posted on my Facebook page. It's my latest post.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, sister. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
So yeah, hopefully everybody out there kind of could jive with that a little bit. What I just said. But let's get into these videos real quick. Let's get into these videos. Now, the number one video that I'm going to start with is the video that I started with. This is the video that, I was introduced to first, because, like, when somebody first came to me, and they were trying to teach me this stuff, I was kind of like, they say, man, ain't no money. And I'm like, man, what are you talking about? Ain't no money, man. What are you talking about? So, everything was foreign to me. The terminology was foreign. The dudes are talking about, but I'm watching them, and they saying all this stuff. I'm like, I'm okay with these cats. They know, they know what they're talking about because I see what they're doing. So, everything looks foreign, but whatever it is they know, it's working. It's working. So that was very interesting to me. And the first video that they gave me to watch was this video called The Occult World of Commerce with Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell is actually on this particular video. Some of you may or may not be familiar with Jordan Maxwell. I like Jordan. Things he talks about, he's real good. He came out with this video a while back. I think it came out in, I don't know. I think I was introduced to it like in 2005. So, and it came out before then, because there's a lot of guys been knowing about this information for 30 years. But I'm going to put a link up in the chat room for it. It's called The Occult World of Commerce. In this particular video, they go into a step-by-step of how all this stuff jumped off, how the court system is set up, how it's like an overlay over a commercial world. And very, very interesting video that people should check out. And why? It's called The Occult World of Commerce. Good primer for all of those out there who want to get into this stuff. Now, another video that is very, very good, that teaches you some courtroom procedure. Now, this video right here, a lot of people would look over because it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon, and people are not going to pay it any attention. And it's called Dorothy Gale. Now, if you notice her name is Dorothy Gale, let me break down her name. Dorothy was in The Wizard of Oz. And, of course, a gale is what came and took her away. Well, anyway, it's a video that you can see. Now, they took a lot of her videos off the Internet. That is what is so powerful about these particular videos, because there's one video on there in particular that was showing people how to deal with the IRS when they had IRS issues. In these particular videos, you know, she talks how to deal with the courts, how to respond, different things like that. Very, very, very good video. Very, very good video. It's on point. Very good video to watch. All of her videos. They've taken a lot of them off the Internet. You should watch them closely. Dorothy Gale. Put up a link. I just put up a link in the chat room. Another video that I always teach off of. Okay, hold on. Somebody got their hand up. 302-8525. You got a question? You're on High Frequency Radio.
Indiana. Michigan.
Hello? Yeah, you're on High Frequency Radio.
Oh, peace, brother Yusef. Man, I must have made a mistake and hit that, John. Right now, and I can't even talk. My bad. I got hit it by mistake this time.
Okay, that's okay. All right, number 8 video. I'm sorry, number 3, not 8. Because we did a Court, World, and Commerce, Dorothy Gale, Moors in Court. And a lot of people may be familiar with the Moors in Court video. But I love the Moors in Court video, because the Moors in Court video, I think is very good, because it shows these brothers in court going at it with a judge, challenging jurisdiction. They're challenging jurisdiction. And it's a whole series of videos that these brothers were able to obtain. I guess they got it from the court or whatever. But what's real good about the video is I use these videos to teach, because they do a lot of things right, but in my opinion, they do a lot of things wrong too. So I'm putting that up. But it's a real good, because we got the people talk about the nationality and the challenging of the jurisdiction and things of that nature. And you can see these brothers do a very good job in challenging jurisdiction. I like to use it because it demonstrates how not to be afraid in court, how you can speak. But it also shows a lot of things in there of how the judge will trick you that they weren't catching. Like these brothers, a lot of times they're getting into a dialogue with the judge where they're actually answering questions, or the judge will make a statement, well, I'm going to go ahead and proceed anyway, and I thank you for your consideration. And then the brothers don't say anything. You know, like every time a judge is saying anything, you're supposed to be responding to it, because judges are very, very shrewd. Anytime, they're not saying, every time they speak, there's a reason for it. And you should be on the alert, even if it seems innocent, especially the questions that come across innocent, the innocent questions. You really need to be watching out for that. But the Moors in Court is a very good, I use that, and I teach that series of videos in class all the time, because I do like the brothers. I'm not putting the brothers down, because they research, they speak well, their attitude is proper, they're gentlemen, they're dressed properly, they are standing on their square. They are standing on their square. And I believe this case went on for quite some time, like over a year and something. How it went on. These brothers had, but they were presenting a lot of arguments to the court. what was interesting also in here, when it started off, the judge was asking them, do they work? And at first the brother said, well, I didn't come here to answer any questions, but then he turns around and started answering questions. So it's a very, very, very good video to watch. And so you can see, the jurisdictional arguments and the status arguments and how they are brought into court and someone who's dealing with those particular things. Have you watched that video, Paul?
The Moors in court, yeah. My position is equal with yours. A lot of good things and a lot of not so good things. Not
good thing, yeah. It was. But I like it. I think it's a video that people should watch. They've got a lot of hits, but it's good just to show people, because a lot of people be shocked just to find that somebody will stand up and try to talk for themselves like that in court.
Oh, this one that you have here is a good one.
Yeah, it's that is a very good one, and those brothers, like I said, they were challenging, saying, it's not, they know the jurisdiction of the court, they understand, they had a lot of case law, a lot of history they knew.
The one I think is the best one is his co-defendant.
Yeah, both of them I like both of them. I think they both had their,
if I acted like him, I'd be locked up. I'm surprised they didn't lock him back up. But the other brother's presence, his presence was more noble and more honorable.
It was. I understand what you're saying, but I do think there are times where you got to get firm with these judges, because it was like he said, well, the judge has appointed this, and the brother told him like this, that he don't have the authority to appoint me a judge, and neither do you. And he's right. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll be making statements like that, but he should have probably phrased it in a different way. Well, I will conditionally accept the honorable judge's contention that he appointed counsel for me upon proof of claim that I don't have a Sixth Amendment protected natural right of self-representation in these proceedings. I've had judges do that to me. Well, you have an attorney, Mr. John. Well, I said, well, my attorney's fired. Well, yeah, you can't. I said, ma'am, I got a Sixth Amendment right of self. Okay, Mr. Jones, whatever you say. Damn right. What you talking about? Don't make me have an attorney, They like you to have an attorney. They don't want you talking. They need you to be on a dog chain.
Yeah. Now, see, here is the part that we got to make sure everybody understands. Your experience and expertise in the handling of the room, the courtroom, is how we are coming privileged to this information and knowledge because of your experience that you've gone through in handling the courtroom. But we must instruct that this is not what we want you trying to do.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of times when I'm talking to judges like that, I've been going back and forth with them for a while. I've been coming to court 10 times and, and stuff like that. We've been going. So we kind of got a relationship. I done kind of formed a relationship with the judge about this time.
Where'd you go? All right, my brother has gone away somewhere. So we're going to carry on till he pop back up. Yeah, it's very important to everybody out there to understand that his experience is our benefit. And perhaps you will be in a position where you will have to defend yourself. And in such case, then you can utilize this experience. But the ultimate aim is to prevent yourself from being in that environment. There's no reason. He who fights best fights not at all. You don't want to have to involve yourself because all they're trying to do once you get to that venue is trick you. That is the number one thing they're trying to do is trick you. You there, my brother?
Yeah, this is Hadoob.
Hello, Hadoob. How are you? This is Savage L. What can I do for you today?
Yes. How you doing? I'm calling about a problem with UDS.
All right, my brother. let's talk about that off air.
Okay, well.
And he'll be back. I don't know where my co-host went. He'll be back in a little bit.
Well, I have a question outside of that. I didn't really mean to say the company name or whatever.
Yeah. All right, 99. Let's keep rolling, and when he comes back, I'll pose him that question for you.
I got disconnected.
He's back.
Yeah,
all
I'm
right,
back.
Brother. Go ahead and pose. We got a question online for you. Yusef.
All right, what was the question?
Yes, greetings. This is Hagoo.
Hey, greetings, bro. How you doing?
Pretty good. And you, and blessings to you. I really love brothers like you, and that's all I look for is brothers like you in
I
this
appreciate
world.
It. Thank you.
To bring up our nationality and our culture. I have a small claims, and I don't really know how to ask the question, but the LLC that I sued in small claims dissolved their LLC in the middle of my lawsuit because they knew they were going to lose. So me not knowing, the procedures and all that, I did win a default judgment, and I proceeded to collect it and do the interrogatories, and I did it under the LLC instead of the owner because I didn't know who the owner of the LLC was at the time. So
right.
my question is now, since I done proceeded on with doing the interrogatories with the LLC, can I change it in the middle of it and start and doing an interrogatory to the owner since I found out who the owner was?
I mean, well, the owner is not, you didn't bring, it depends on who you brought the claim against, because if the claim is not, the owner should have been brought in under the caption of the pleading in the complaint, like you versus such and such LLC, as well as, and the owners, you make it clear in your complaint who you are bringing the claim against. So you can always amend the complaint, but usually you have to do that at the beginning of the proceeding before you receive an answer from the opposing party. So I probably would suggest that you start all over. But how I would start it is that I would start out by writing that particular individual a letter. And let me tell you and let me explain what I'm talking about, because, a lot of people just like to go and just file lawsuits without having first completed an administrative process. So yeah. I would just write, I'd find out who the individual is that you want to bring the lawsuit against. And what I would do is I would contact him and demand payment for whatever it is that you're demanding payment for. And I'd tell him the reasons why in it, because what you're doing is really called a true bill. And I'd send it to him certified mail with an affidavit of mailing from a notary, and I'd give him 10 days to respond. I'd say, okay, my name is, it'd be a letter. It'd be in letter form, because letters are contracts. People need to know that.
Right.
And you send this to him. You say, hey, look, on such and such and such a day, you injured me in this way. I am demanding compensation for these particular damages. If you find something wrong in what I'm saying, I'm giving you 10 days to respond with an affidavit, because you're going to have an affidavit that you're going to send to him, too, because you have to have an affidavit supporting your bill and listing everything that happened. You're giving a detailed thing like what happened. It's just like if you were going to put it in a complaint and give it to a judge. And then you're going to give him 10 days to respond. The 10 days comes from 3 days mailing, 3 days for him to decide what he's going to do after he gets it, 3 more days return mailing, and 1 day for Sunday. And you're going to send this with an affidavit of mailing or some type of notarial document for the mailing purposes, to have evidence that you mailed it to him. And you're going to send a certified mail, and I put restricted endorsement on it, where only he can get it. Now, after he does not return that in 10 days, I'm going to send him another letter, and a notice of default and opportunity to cure, and then I'm going to get a certificate of non-response from a notary, not a protest because you're not doing a negotiable instrument. Just do a certificate of non-response. Now, you're in Georgia. They actually got a code in Georgia for your notaries. And it is, and I'll give it to you in just a minute, it's under the evidence code in Rule 24. Under Title 24.
Okay.
And you should use that and file that notice with your complaint. And what you would do is you would do a bill in equity. I wouldn't try to do no complaint or anything. I would do a bill in equity. It's an equitable proceeding because you have tried to resolve the dispute privately. You now have evidence, prima facie evidence, that's automatically admissible in court. You have a certificate from a notary that can only be controverted by a jury trial. Now, how did I find out that a notary certificate can only be controverted by a jury trial? Because I took my ass to the local law library and got me an American jurisprudence and looked it up.
Uh-huh.
And got the citations that go along with it. A judge don't have no authority in a bench trial proceeding to overturn an affidavit, a certificate from a notary.
Right.
So once you have that in place, now you have your exhibits. You have Exhibit A, your first letter or your first correspondence where you attempted to resolve the issue, listing all of the issues and presented it to whoever it is that you're seeking to sue. Exhibit B, your notice of default and opportunity to cure, where you've contacted him again and you let him know you sent him copies of everything you sent him the first time, and now you're giving him an opportunity. You're saying, look, I haven't heard from you, and he's not to respond back to you. He's to respond back to that notary. You put the notary's address on everything. Your notary is your bridge. The notary is the witness.
Right, right.
Okay, he don't respond back to that, and then your third exhibit is your certificate. You come into court. What is your remedy? Your remedy is res judicata. Everybody should write that down. It's called res judicata, and it's R-E-S and judicata, J-U-D-C-A-T-A. That's your remedy, res judicata. I put it in the chat room. Res judicata means a thing already adjudicated. You're not looking for a judgment from the judge. You're looking for the judge to issue an order because the notary has already given your judgment.
Okay.
These are administrative Article I courts. These are not courts of law. This is where all y'all screwing up out there, trying to protect your homes, trying to do all these cases and everything because the attorneys are doing administrative processes against you. They're giving you notices and everything. You're not doing the same thing back. That's how you have to do it. You ever pay attention that when you go to court, the first thing they do, like especially in a divorce or foreclosure, they always say, hey, can y'all go out in the hall and see if y'all can resolve this first?
Right.
There needs to be some type of attempt to privately resolve the matter first before you bring it into this court.
Let me say this also. I brought the owner in and one of the employees in as I had them subpoenas as defendants or I'm not sure if it was a defendant or witness, but I know I had them subpoenas. So that's bringing them into the case. So
they witnesses against the corporation, but you said the corporation is dissolved or the corporation is. You started saying. From what I was hearing, it sounded like you wanted to sue them in their personal capacity, because you got a personal capacity, you got and then you got the corporation. Because see, they are protected behind the corporate veil. They shielded by the corporation and absolved of all personal liability. That's why you have corporations. So, once you get this judgment, now you can sell a judgment. Irregardless if you cannot collect from them. You can do some things with judgments. But what happened when you subpoenaed them? Did they come in and testify? Did you,
No, nobody never showed up.
So you got a default judgment then? Right.
So I just went yesterday and had the second part 2 of the interrogatories to summon in, to bring them into court now. So now I'm bringing in the owner, and not the LLC, because I found out who the owner was.
Right.
So
and your interrogatories, you were basically asking him questions you want him to answer, and has he supplied an answer to those interrogatories?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, see, I never brought it in. I never sent them a letter for interrogatories. Now I'm just bringing them into court for interrogatories. I sent the letter out the first time to the LLC, not the owner.
Right.
So I went back to the clerk yesterday, and she told me to go ahead with step 2 and send it out to the owner this time, and bring him into court this time.
You see, they always talking about us giving legal advice. Clerk in there giving legal advice.
Well, yeah, really, I was asking for their legal advice because, and I was telling them at the same time, I was telling the clerk at the same time, well, if I'm going to proceed and bring him into court under the second part of the interrogatories, I know the first thing he's going to do is claim lack of due process, because I didn't serve him with the first interrogatory. I served it to the LLC.
Well, he can do that. He can demur or abate whatever it is you're doing. That's what he's supposed to do. I mean, he's not, it's not incumbent upon the opposing party to introduce exculpatory evidence in your favor. You're in an adversarial proceeding, so they're going to do everything they can not to be,
Well, yeah, right. I'm just saying I know that's probably what he would do, his strategy. But what I want to do is make sure that he ain't got no strategy. I want to do it right the first time. So
then that's why you need to have evidence and you need to have affidavits, and then you need to ask what you're asking for, and if they don't reply properly, then move for summary judgment. It's like, you need to have some affidavits on your side. Where are your affidavits? Do you have any affidavits filed? Do you have any affidavits filed?
Yeah, I have affidavits filed with my house.
No, I'm talking about in your case.
No.
Okay, then you don't have any sworn testimony. I mean, I can see probably failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted, because you don't have any when you bring a claim, you have to have an affidavit to support that claim. You always have an affidavit. People out there, they try to imitate these attorneys and everything, file motions, complaints, and all of this type of stuff right here. You got to have an affidavit. When they foreclose on somebody, they have an affidavit. You have an affidavit in support of whatever it is that you're filing, and they have to respond to that affidavit point by point, not interrogatories. An interrogatory is like something that an attorney would put in. I give them an affidavit. Here's my affidavit stating my claim. This is what I say and you've done. Now, to the rules of commerce, you got to rebut this affidavit point by point with an affidavit of your own. And if you don't respond to this affidavit, then, okay, I'm moving for summary judgment, because that affidavit becomes the truth and the judgment in the matter.
Right. Well, let me tell you some heat that I want to put on him to force him to just go on and settle out of court. I found out some dirt on him, as far as him dissolving the LLC in the middle of the lawsuit, because he signed a letter or an application to dissolve the corporation. He just signed it with the Secretary of State. I looked it up online, and he said that he didn't have no pending lawsuits against him at the time he dissolved the organization.
Okay, then you need to bring that into evidence. I think you can find in Article 9 where it talks about secure transactions, where it gets into that discussion. I don't remember it right off the top of my head, but it talks about trying to conceal assets from creditors and so forth. And you need to be able to produce that evidence, because you're making a claim, an allegation right now. Are you able to support that, and are you able to bring in, like, for instance, if you got that, you need some certified documents, and then you need to subpoena whoever it is at the Secretary of State or wherever it is that these documents were filed, and bring them into court and testify. Let me tell you, anytime you're in a court proceeding, you need 2 witnesses, and that comes out of the Bible.
Right. Yeah. I've heard that too. But this is it's two different separate cases because you got a case of civil, and then you got a case of criminal. And the clerks were telling me you can't bring that. That's a whole separate case. The criminal part of him dissolving the LLC in the middle of a lawsuit.
I don't see how it's criminal. I don't see how that's criminal. I mean, first of all, everything's civil. Everything is civil because everything is commercial. You're in a commercial court. You're in an Article I legislative tribunal. All right. Now, if you're gonna bring up the criminal codes, which will be Title 16 and Title 17. You need to go get the district attorney in there to bring that claim.
Yeah.
And they're in Georgia. So, I mean, it's all civil. It's all civil. What you're looking for is damages. This is why I talk about people need to go and study admiralty. When you go and study admiralty, you're going to see that even and then if you did a crime, it was all about a debt collection. And that's what it is today. They just hiding it and giving people this throw off and making you think it's one thing when it's really not. Mm-hmm. So, with that right there, you need to have your evidence together. That's all I'm saying. Have you put your ducks in a row. You need to have already demonstrated that you have attempted to resolve the matter privately with it, whatever it is that you're doing. You need to contact. That's what they're going to do to you.
Yeah.
They're going to come in with some evidence where they contacted you and tried to resolve this, or they made some type of claim, and and most people, they end up trying to ignore stuff, and that's what gets them into trouble. So, and they'll do the same thing to you. So, you just got to have the court is not the courthouse. The court is the paperwork. You hold court on paper.
Right.
And you got what's called half proof and full proof evidence.
And also the court is the live human entity, that's been that's bringing the case to be
You're talking about the judge or the administrator?
Well, no, the plaintiff, the live human being.
Right, but the live human being has to have some paperwork.
Yeah, we have the paperwork too, but there's no court without a live human being bringing the paperwork in.
Well, that's true. That's fine. That's true. But really, these courts are not designed for live human beings. They're designed for corporations.
Right.
And those are not live human beings on the caption of those pleadings. Not even you. Not even when you bring in the claim. You bring that claim in the capacity of your straw man. Because you cannot bring a real living person into an Article I court. That's not what it's designed for. It's designed for corporations. Right. It's just that most people don't know that their straw man is a corporation. They think that it is them. And that's why they consider a lot of us dead, because we don't realize what type of court that we are in and how the law operates and the difference between public and private. When you bring something into the public, it's always under the guise of a fictional entity when you come into those courts.
Now, say if you wanted to bring the live human being in there, you put in the affidavit saying you are the live human being.
You can, but you can say, you need to say who you are. You need to say what capacity. How I always do my pleadings, I always say, I would do something like this. Say, now comes Joseph Jones. I put in all caps or whatever. And I would say, in my proper person as the authorized representative, the undersigned, and I would say undersigned. I would say the undersigned authorized representative. I'd say by and through. I'd say now comes me, plaintiff, by and through the undersigned authorized representative in my proper person by special appearance, or, that's if I'm a defendant, with full reservation of all my inalienable rights granted to me by the infallible creator of the boundless universe, a real living soul. And that's if I need to defend myself. If I'm a plaintiff, I would say, by and through the undersigned authorized representative. Because I try to keep my pleadings. I don't want to be having a whole bunch of stuff in my paperwork where the judge is going to say, okay, here go one of these nut cases and all that. Right. You don't want to do that. That's why I just say by and through the undersigned authorized representative. What are they going to say to that? Because I'm the one who signed it down, and I'm signing in the capacity as the authorized representative
for that particular name, and I'm gonna put it in capital letters because that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in capital letters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I identify. You can speak to these people using syntax. You don't necessarily have to expressly say everything. That's how you learn how to communicate in the private. You don't have to expressly say, this is the artificial person, Inslee Geese, fictional entity, and I'm the real living soul from, you don't have to do that all the time. You can just say, hey, put it in capital letters, and then say by and through the undersigned authorized representative. That's what the attorneys do when they represent you.
Mm-hmm.
They put your name, and then they say by and through the undersigned, represent attorney or whatever. And that's what you do too. But these places are not designed. These places are not designed for real living souls. I mean, people are going to try and make it out to be that. I was listening to a brother last night. He was talking about nationality and all this type of stuff right here. But the point of the matter, what I failed to see in anything that he was saying, he was a very, very intelligent brother. They just failed to understand the difference between, they talking about the 14th Amendment and all this type of stuff, but they failed to understand that, look, man, this is business. This is business. And you have all the power. You have all the power. I can understand if they were doing all this and you didn't have no power, but you got power. You just don't know how to use it.
So let me ask you this in closing. The judgment I got against the default judgment I already have, do I just put that aside and then start going after or can I still use that as part of evidence?
You can use that default judgment as evidence. You can bring that up in your pleading, but it would depend on what type of remedy that you're seeking. See, I don't know what your remedy. What you want to put somebody in jail?
Well, no. I want my $2,500 back that I gave them.
Okay, then that's what you asked the judge for. You make sure you put that. I want my $2,500 back, and hey, here's my evidence. Here's my affidavit supporting my evidence, and I want all this back. They serve a complaint on them. Give them 30 days to respond, and if they don't respond, move for summary judgment.
Right.
And usually, if you have all your ducks in a row, it'll be hard for them to respond because if you've already contacted them and you got your exhibits and everything in a row, you say, look, I've already contacted them. I sent this certified mail, affidavit of mailing, gave them time to respond. They didn't judge. I did another one, gave them an opportunity to queue. They didn't judge. And I got a certificate from a notary that you can't just kick to the side. Now, give me my remedy. This is what I need. I need a judgment for $2,500.
Right. Okay. Well, I sure thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna hop right on that.
Okay. And study the fact that these are understand what kind of court you're in. Get on the internet, and you can go to Wikipedia and just Google, put in there Article 1 court and Article 3 court, and read everything it's saying on there. And I thank you for calling in, bro.
All right. Thank you. God bless.
God bless you, too. Okay, let me get back to my list because I know y'all waiting to get the rest of this list. We're talking about today top videos that you can watch on the internet. Top videos that you can watch on the internet that will give you some kind of insight into what's going on. Number one was The Occult World of Commerce with Jordan Maxwell. That's the first video I ever watched on this subject matter, and it was very, very interesting to me. Very interesting. Number two was Dorothy Gale. She's a little cartoon entity that is on the internet.
All right, number two did not, the link that you put in the chat didn't take.
It didn't take?
Number one.
Oh, okay, well, let me put it back up. Dorothy Gale?
Yeah.
Let me find Dorothy Gale. There's a dude. They started taking all Dorothy Gale videos off of YouTube. And this one guy, he was collecting them, and he got them on his site. It's on Extra Normal. You can watch all of her videos. Now, one video in particular that she got, and this is the thing that I think they were taking off her videos for,
off the internet, which they have a video on there where she's trying to deal with the IRS. In particular, after you do these 1099 OIDs, and I just put it in the chat room. Make sure it pops up. Yeah, that's it. And what that video does is, what it's showing on that particular video, after you do these 1099 OIDs, people are getting visits from the IRS, and they're not knowing how to handle that visit. I actually had a client of mine go to jail because she got $500,000 back on a 1099 OID. I was trying to help her. She got scared, but when she was telling me her story, what was interesting about her story is that how she treated the IRS agent when the IRS agent came to visit her. Remember the rule number 3 to the game: stay in honor at all costs. You don't dishonor any of our public servants. You remain honorable at all times. You don't talk to them crazy. You don't cuss them out. You don't do any of those things. Because after she talked crazy to the IRS agent told her, I'm going to make your life miserable, and I'm going to take everything you own. Told her that. So we need to be cognizant of that. But on the flip side, I had another client who got some hundreds of thousands of dollars, and when the IRS agent came to visit him, he told her, come on in. He told her, hey, come in. How you doing? Poured him some coffee. Asked him some questions. Hey, is this straw man thing for real? And he said they told him, yeah, it is. They'll tell you some information. They're coming to do a character assessment on you. And they're also coming to see if you really know. Because, see, they understand what they don't like, the IRS, especially when dealing with these 1099 OIDs, they don't like other people filling out paperwork for you. They don't like people doing seminars. They don't like people charging upfront money and then getting some money on the tail end when your money comes in. Everybody who's getting an indictment and going to prison, that's what they're doing. Because if you really knew this stuff, you could defend yourself against an indictment. Because there is no money. So when they come to visit you and you have filled out all this paperwork and then they start talking to you and you don't even understand you're a creditor. You don't even know how to talk to these people. You don't even know how to fill out a DTC application or with the DTCC. What business you got? You ain't no creditor. You're not competent to handle your commercial affairs. You have committed perjury because those IRS forms are affidavits. They tell you to sign them under penalty of perjury. So you're claiming to be something that you're not. So you have committed perjury. Very good videos, the Dorothy Gale videos. You should watch all her videos. Whoever them cats are putting out those videos, they know they stuff. It got by a lot of people because they these little stick man, these little cartoon figures. So people see it on the internet and think it's some kind of joke. But for the people who in the know, they sit there listening and say, man, look at, man, they dropping some information in these videos. That's for the people in the know. Let's get back. We did the Moors in court. I like those brothers. Moors in court. Moors in court, like we were talking about earlier. They did the status arguments and everything.
I want you to get through before the time runs on the first John.
All right. I'm sorry, I might have just kicked everybody out of the chat room.
No, I'm still looking at them.
Okay.
The next case is the state of Kansas versus Miss Dorothy Gale.
Hold on, y'all.
Dorothy Gale in the courtroom.
All right. Let me run through the list then. We do Moors in court. The next one is a Keene video. Now, the Keene video, if y'all look at my my heading, if you're on the internet, you'll see that the video is right there. It's a Keene video where this guy is actually going in court and he don't want to cross over the bar. And actually, the black guy who actually videoed the entire thing is an ex-attorney. He's no longer an attorney, but he's an ex-attorney. And that was a real. It's on the episode info. You'll see it. I'll put it in the description. You'll see right there. Let me put it in the chat room. It's called Collapsing the Trust. I'm going to put it in the chat room right now. It's a very good video for you to watch. I just put it in the chat room. That particular video, like I said, you should watch that if you're on a criminal case, because in there he's actually asking the judge for her name. He doesn't want to come over to the bar. You know, they try to give him a psychiatric evaluation. The man tells him, I'm not taking no psychiatric evaluation. You know, all these different things right here. You can pull out some very good. He's appointing the judge as the trustee, and she get up and walk out.
Real quick, that's a repeat too. That's a repeat of Dorothy Gale.
That's a repeat I just put up?
Yep, you just repeated Dorothy Gale.
Oh, I did? Hold on. Let me get it again. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Well, it's on the, when you go to, let me see. Is this thing copying? Let me see. Go to it. Let me see. Let me go to it. Okay, I got it right now. Yes, in Milford, New Hampshire, State versus Ingress. Very, very good video for you to watch.
All right, it's there.
Okay, I got it?
Yeah, it's there. All right, go to the next.
Okay, all right, okay. That's it. Very, very good video for you to watch. Got some good stuff in that. Good stuff. I got somebody calling in with a question real quick. (682-7230) on High Frequency Radio. You had a question?
Hello?
Yes. You're on High Frequency Radio.
How you doing, brother? This is Daryl. I've tried to call you the last 2 days. Man, I got two questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
The first question is, after your show, is there anywhere that you can go to get some of those links off that you post up on your board?
Is there any way I can get them off?
No. Is there any way available for somebody?
Yeah, I could come and get them because I'm not on the internet right now.
Oh, yeah, brother. My email is highfrequencyblogtalk@gmail.com. I don't know if you can remember that, if you're riding or...
Yeah, I got it. I sent your email last night.
Okay, I think I did see you. I answered a lot of emails yesterday. I didn't get to all of them. I do answer every email. So I will definitely be sending you a link to Dropbox and some other information. I'll give you a link to all these videos. I'll send that. I'll put them all in a video in an email too, if anybody wants to get those. But right now, yes, I am putting them up on the chat room, but I'll send them to you. Just hit me on the email.
Okay. And my second question was, my daughter had a fight at school where she was assaulted and she jumped on this girl. You know, she beat her up pretty bad. And now they got her going to some, I guess, kiddie court or something of that nature. How can I find out if that's even legal?
Well, here's the thing. This is the thing on public and private where people have to realize. First of all, your daughter is in a public school.
Okay.
All right. So she's under their jurisdiction. You come into a public school. If It is insofar as she can't be judged under adult law. It is I don't know what the laws are in your state, so I shouldn't say that. You need to go and find out what the laws are in your state. I don't know how old your daughter is. I don't know anything about the case. There is some liability associated with there. It is all commercial. You need to find out what the what jurisdiction it is operating under. But I can assure you that it is a commercial activity, and she can defend herself. I don't know, you said like if there was a fight, there's two people out just because somebody got beat up. I mean, I don't know what caused the fight or anything like that, but we do want to be honorable with each other because there's an actual injury right there that you're dealing with. Okay. Someone is actually injured in a situation like that. But it's still a commercial matter. So how to find that out, I would start with the state stats, see what they have charged her with. That's where you start off first. And you go into the law library, he'll tell you where they come from, where it comes. You can get with me later. Send me the email link, and I'll look at it for you. I get interested in stuff like that because, I like to add to my storehouse of knowledge, and I'll look at it for you, and then I'll give you my opinion on it. But But with something like that, someone was actually injured. You're in a public area, in a public venue. They do have jurisdiction. I'm sure they do. And so that's something you need to take into consideration.
Now, let me ask you this. She was the one that was assaulted, so she was defending herself. So she didn't start the fight.
Okay, then she needs to put in a counterclaim.
Okay.
And then, ask for damages on her end, and they have to adjudicate a counterclaim first. Because see, what's happening is did that other girl's parents file it? Who filed the charges against her? The school or the parents?
It was the school.
Okay, then file a counterclaim against the school.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, this chick attacked me. I'm defending myself. I've been injured. Yada, 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 yada. You always got to file a counterclaim. Always.
Okay.
Always put in a counterclaim.
Okay. Well, I'll send you tonight once I get off. I'll start emailing you and sending you some information and start corresponding with you and everything.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
All right, brother. Appreciate it.
All right. Okay, let's get back to our list. We were on the King video. I put that up. Now, another video that's real good to watch that y'all are going to like. And how much time we got? Because I can't even see the time on my thing. They got some chart blocking my...
You got 14 minutes, under 14 minutes.
Oh, man, I got 14 minutes. I got to run through this thing. Okay, well, let me get y'all the next one. The thing is, a change is coming. It's called A Change is Coming. This is such a very good video because it's talking about the history of the country. It talks about the monetary system. These brothers who put this, whoever put this together, they did an excellent job in putting the whole thing together. Let me find it for you, and I will put it up in the chat room. But it's called A Change is Coming, and it's a 3-part documentary that I think that you should watch. It is an excellent, when I say it was put together good, these dudes did some research. They did some fire research. They go all the way back to the church, and then they take you up through the court system, and very, very, very good video. And let's see, give me just a second.
Who are the authors?
The authors are, I had it right here. Where it ain't on video. The authors, Change is Coming. Court. Court. Hold on just a second. I'm going to give it to you. I thought I had it already. And his name is well, let me get back to that link. I'm going to have to get back to that link because we're going to run out of time. I'm like, wow, I can't find it on my
Yeah, all right.
I think it's the Minecraft project. Just hold on just a second. I think this is it right here.
Project?
Is
the Minecraft project?
I think so. I'm looking at it right now. Because I downloaded the video. I have it, you know. And it's...
Take off your clothes. What? I have to know if you wear them.
And these particular guys, I hope they can take it off of YouTube. But anyway, I'm gonna come back to that one. I'll come back to that one. But it's called A Change Is Coming, y'all. Let me get to the ones I got to list it because before time run out. We're running short on time. The next one is David Wynn Miller. David Wynn Miller. And what I like about David Wynn Miller teaches syntax communication and the mathematical interface of math, you know, of language. And this is so true. What happens is a lot of times when you're writing your court documents, you're writing them in a future tense or a past tense type language. Now, this guy, I got to give him his props. This is something you definitely should research and watch and listen to this man very closely. He's kind of arrogant, but he has some very good information. I think you should read. I think you should watch him. I put it up in the chat room. Just watch these videos because it'll make you conscious of your grammar. One thing I know about judges, and when I read a lot of legal documents, is that they are experts in syntax communication. Experts in it. So a lot of times you're not getting your remedy and things like that because how you write your documents. You're not saying the right thing. You haven't mastered the English language. Like I tell people, very simple example. Before the 14th Amendment, every time you see the word citizen, it's with a capital C. After the 14th Amendment, every time you see the word citizen in the Constitution, it's a small c. That little thing may seem insignificant to you, but it means a whole lot. There's a big distinct difference between a proper noun and a common noun.
Nine minutes.
Next one, Dean Clifford. Dean Clifford. I think then I just put up the...
yeah, you got it.
I put it up, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Put it up again. Dean Clifford, I like Dean. The reason I like Dean Clifford because I listened to the man talk, and I can tell he's been through the same thing I've been through, and he found out the same things I found out. Dean Clifford. He has a lot of videos on YouTube. You should watch him. He talks about the trust and everything like this. Okay. He's nothing fancy or anything like that. He's pretty, laid back with everything he's doing. But I like him because I see a lot of similarities in what he's saying and what I'm saying. The next one is the 1%. No, I'm sorry, not the 1%. The next one is the anti-terrorist. His name is the anti-terrorist. And I like this guy. He's a funny guy. But he got a video. He got a whole lot of videos. Also, he's some English guy, and he always wears a disguise. He never shows who he is. But I'm watching this guy, I'm like, wow, this guy right here knows a lot of information. Okay, and he has a series of videos also that you can watch, and I'm putting up his link also. It's called the Anti-Terrorist. Give the people the number to call in because I can't even see the screen.
All right, yo, the number to call in is 424-222-5250, because you have to call in before 1 o'clock, as you all call it.
How much time we got left?
424-222-5250.
And the last video I'm going to give is a video of me. Of course, me. Got to put me in there. And it's a series of videos I did for a friend of mine. It's on his website. He has a little thing that he does. I'm going to give him a plug. And it's called StarvingTheSystem.com. A lot of people who found out about me, that is where they went. And I was just shocked at how many people watched those videos and were, moved to do something. But you can go to that website, and you will see a list of videos, and you will see me. I did an introduction to sovereignty in April of 2011. That's how far back I've been doing this stuff. And I also did debt elimination. So you'll see the title to those videos on his particular website. And if you wanted to see me, you never seen me before or something, you want to see me in action, you can find me there. I did the debt elimination. I did that in February of 2012. Called debt, and I did 3 videos on debt elimination, and I did, I think, 4 videos on introduction to sovereignty. So, E, I'm giving you a plug. Definitely want to check out those videos. Very informative videos. I'm going over some things. You can watch me go over some information on those. And these videos, look, y'all, these are some good videos you can take in your spare time. If you have a criminal case, I would definitely watch the Dorothy Gale videos. I would definitely watch the Dean Clifford and the anti-terrorists. Watch all these guys. Look at the Moors in court. If you're into the status thing, and start to get in your mind, because you can watch these people, and the King video also. You can watch these people and see these people in court. And there are a lot of other videos on the internet, too, where people are actually going into court. They're challenging jurisdiction. They are questioning things in court. You need to start forming a picture in your mind that something is going on. Because the reason that these people have been able to get away with this for so long is because so many people don't know. But how much time we got left, man?
You got a little over 3 minutes. You didn't put your video in the chat. Oh, I see it's Starving. All right, I got it.
It's StarvingTheSystem.com. Well, okay, we're going to take a quick break. Everybody needs to call in. It was 424-222-5250. 424-222-5250. You got 3 minutes to call in if you want to hear the last hour of the show. I'm going to be taking some phone calls if you got questions you want to ask, or you got something that's been burning you or itching at you, and you want to call in. A lot of people say, I'm unapproachable or whatever, but no, you can give me a call, and we will look at what you are talking about. Once again, that's 424-222-5250. Once again, that's 424-222-5250. And we're going to go into the other half of our show. And we'll be back after these messages.
The 13th Amendment reads, slavery is abolished except when you are found guilty of a crime and go to jail. So prison is the slave plantation. And look at all the things that are denied you in jail is the same thing that was denied Africans on the plantation. Slavery still is very much alive.
Today, there are more African American adults under correctional control in prison or jail on probation or parole than were enslaved in 1850, a decade before the Civil War began. crime and crime rates did not drive mass incarceration to begin with. Incarceration rates have fluctuated over the years, gone up, gone down. Today, are actually at historical lows. But incarceration rates, especially black incarceration rates, have consistently soared regardless of whether crime is going up or going down in any given community or the nation as a whole. War on drugs, which has been a major engine of mass incarceration, has targeted poor communities of color, especially black and brown men, even though studies have consistently shown now for decades that people of color are no more likely to use or sell illegal drugs than white.
Before 1964, the prison rate in America, the majority of people in prison were white people, were white guys. But the thing is, there was no need to have a strong police presence in the black community because black people were already controlled by the basic laws of the land. Black people were already controlled by Jim Crow laws, signs saying black people drink from this water fountain, black people couldn't live in this neighborhood. So black people were just controlled, period, at that time. Now, after the Civil Rights Bill passed in 1964, this is when the police presence became very strong in the black community, because the average citizen couldn't control black people like they could before then. So they came up with another strategy and had law enforcement do it. So around 1964-65, black communities were flooded with law enforcement. And this is why the Black Panthers was started, because of the police brutality that had started in the black community.
Prisoners themselves represent a small percentage of the population under correctional control. Like today, there's about 7.6 million people under correctional control, but only about 1.3 million are in prison of that. The rest are on probation, parole, in jail, overwhelmingly for minor nonviolent offenses and drug offenses. The problem is that even if you don't get prison time, even if you're lucky enough to get just felony probation, you're saddled for the rest of your life with a felony record. And so the question isn't, in my view, just who's in prison. The question is, who is branded a criminal or felon and must live with that label for the rest of their lives.
The people said, well, if we don't need black labor anymore, what do we do with it? Well, we have to set up a system in the commercial system, or at least incorporate black people into the commercial system so that they make us money without having to do the labor of picking cotton or picking sugar cane or whatever. We're already past that. So how do we make a more sophisticated plantation where we can keep slaves? Well, let's criminalize pretty much every damn thing that we do. There are over 1 million laws on the books now. Who needs 1 million laws? Unless you want to control people's behavior.
The police presence has always been in the black community because we are prisoners of war. That's number one. The original police were created to catch slaves. They were slave catchers. There was no need to police a white society. There was no need for that in early America. There was no need for that. Police even became wild when police were always about guarding property. That's what the police are about, guarding property. That's it. Their job gets stretched out to a moral responsibility and public safety and that kind of thing later on in their development. But the original concept of a police officer is to make sure your property stays with you. They are hired by the rich, first of all, to protect the rich's property.
All right, we're back. I'm back again. Yusef L. and Paul David Savage L. on High Frequency Radio, coming to you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Still there, brother?
Yeah, my brother, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to take some calls now. Some people with their hands up. 919-5664. You're on High Frequency Radio.
Hi, Brother Yusef. How are you?
Hey, sister, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm calling because I have a question. Is there a remedy for expired license? My license expired 2 years ago. If I don't go renew them, are they still in the system, or how is that?
Wow, that's a very good question. Well, if your license expired, they haven't been canceled or anything like that. I mean, I don't know what your question. Let me get some clarification on your question. Do you get your license back, or you just want to take yourself completely out of the system? You don't want any reference of you ever having a license or something like that. Is that what are you asking?
Yes, I want to come out of the driving because I'm not a driver. I'm a traveler.
Right. I would think that how you would go ahead and handle that, because if you don't have a license, I mean, you don't have one in your possession. There's no contract because you got to understand these are all contracts. So this falls under contract law. So if there is no, the contract was terminated and expired at a certain time. That's why they said expired, because the contract is expired. Now, if you want to renew the contract, you can go in and put your name down again and sign something and go ahead and renew that contract for another 4 years or whatever. I mean, it's just like a cell phone. And if you get to sign a contract for a cell phone at the end of when it expires, you're not under any obligation to perform under that particular contract. So I wouldn't worry about it. I would start to get my notices, my travel documents together, and start putting public servants on notice of what my status is, for traveling purposes. Like Brother Paul.
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead now, because I know that's something that you have been dealing with. How do you handle when you travel?
Number one, I send notices to the United States Secretary of State, to the governor, to my immediate governor, and to my immediate Secretary of State that, all those contracts were voided, of no effect and null, and that I'd be traveling on the lands of my ancestors.
What if the license was suspended before they expired?
So it doesn't matter. It's still voided. I would still send notice that it's voided. It is voided. It is fraud and voided. See, when you say they say contract, but I say it's not a contract because it wasn't disclosed. They didn't tender anything. It was a colorable contract that was fraud from the beginning to bind you into this invisible contract, and it's an invisible contract because you don't know a damn thing about it. So you have to send notice that you're voiding it. This way, when they try to stop you and write you a ticket for driving on a suspended license, you've already informed them that it ain't suspended because it was voided.
Okay, by them, which expired 2 years ago.
It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference. You're voiding it from the beginning, from its inception. I voided mine from 30-something years ago. I've had a license for 40 years. I voided it from all the way back there. It was void from the beginning. Fraud in amnitio, void from the beginning.
So when you void, is there a date that you put down in the notice that you
fraud is void? Listen, this is the language. Void due to fraud in amnitio. Capital IN, space, what is it? NITIO. You got a Black's Law Dictionary? Look that up so you understand what it's saying. It's saying that it's fraud, and since it's fraud, it's void from the very beginning. So the fact that this don't mean anything.
That what you just tried to spell to me, can you put that in the chat?
I just did. I did.
All right.
Yeah, it's in the chat now.
That means from the beginning.
I really appreciate you guys having the balls, excuse my language, to do this type of stuff. and I really give you props as a black sister, a black mother, a black whatever you want to call me. Well, I shouldn't say black, but you know.
We appreciate it.
If you look up the word black, you will understand that it never applied to you, but you got to find the right definition. The Reconstruction took place to change our way of thinking and our ability to find out the truth. So you get an 1828 Noah Webster dictionary, look up black, and see if you were ever black, or if any of your ancestors were ever black. We're not the black ones.
Nope, none of them was. I wasn't. I'm a nigger, actually.
We're going to evolve from that as well. Labels they put on us to dehumanize us, and more importantly, among the affairs of men, to denationalize us, to make us stateless peoples, thus Christian chattel property. So a lot of what we're talking to you about is understanding it. When we're talking about your status, my brother's emphasis on your commercial status as the creditor, as the issuer, as a holder in due course. My emphasis is on your birthright status of not being what we've been programmed to be. We're neither Negro, black, or colored.
Okay.
So that's a subject of another class, another call. But you're on the right track, but you have to protect yourself from the eventual reality that you know they're going to stop you.
Yeah,
one day or another, they're going to stop you, and what are you going to do? So you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to have that individual who stops you not accost you because you've got a suspended license, because that's the first thing they're going to try to do. All right? So you need to void out that contract in MDTO from the very beginning, void it out, rescind it, and inform them in affidavit form. You got to do it in that form of an affidavit, giving them 10 days to respond. You can give them 30 days to respond should they have any rebuttal. And inside your affidavit, you have to also include that you will be traveling on the lands of your ancient ancestors, and that there will be a fee, or not a fee, a compensation schedule assigned to those individuals who deem themselves in authority to impede your right to travel, because the United States Supreme Court has declared that the states cannot convert a right of travel, they cannot convert it into a privilege, driver's license, which is what they did. Your right to travel is your birthright. You got the right to travel. You got the right to go wherever you want to go and wander. Their attempt to make you have a license in order for you to do that is a violation of law. So you have to put them on notice of this, assign to them, I call it a loyal compensation schedule, by which I bill them per hour, and for impeding my traffic, I bill them per minute. Per minute, I bill them 1 gold buffalo coin, 1 ounce buffalo gold coin per minute of impeding my travel, and I bill them 1 ounce gold eagle times 10 per hour of time I have to spend fooling with their fraudulent, fictitious activities.
Okay. So a notice is an affidavit.
Everything you do when you communicate to them is in the form of an affidavit. Every affidavit is numbered point by point. It's notarized. Email us and I'll send you some rough drafts for you to try to format off of. And the reason is this: just like my brother is right. All right, my brother and I have been going at this for a while, back and forth, and I have had to acquiesce my position. And I had to acquiesce my position because he's true and correct. That we're I'm a Moor. As a Moor, we might be majoring on the minor, because we're majoring on our nationality, we're majoring on their lack of jurisdiction, and all these things are correct. But we're doing it in an improper venue because all they care about is getting paid And why don't we just daggone pay them because it's faster and easier to satisfy what they want through the methods available to us, which is negotiable instruments and acceptances. Let them have their currency and go on about our way. But also establish with them, when you start doing this, you're establishing with them a do not engage. You know what I'm saying? Now, my goal is to be on the do not engage list. Do not engage this joker. If you find out who this joker is, leave him alone. Because if you don't leave him alone, he's billing you. I'm billing their bond per minute for stopping me on the road. I'm billing their bond. I'm billing their bond, the individual's bond, and I'm billing their supervisor's bond, who happens to be whatever municipality that they for or so-called work for. I'm billing them as well. Just like they're engaging us in commerce through these fictitious contracts that they're sending us and adhering us to, these invisible things we don't know about, we have to flip that script around and begin to engage them through commerce in the same manner. For you bothering me is costing you. You're impeding on my life, my right to travel, my spiritual journey, my study time, and my meditation. Anytime I'm fooling with you, and you contracting with me, trying to fool with me and occupy my time, well, you just did, and guess what? It's going to cost you. So we have to do it the same way. We have to go through commerce and contract. So we issue our own contracts, and we're doing our own commerce against them for bothering us.
Yeah, hit them pockets.
Yeah, hit them pockets. So when you send the email, you know the email address?
Yes.
Okay, email. Put my name in the email in the title, so I'll make sure I look at it, and I'll send you some stuff that you can start using. All right.
Okay. Are you Yusef?
I'm Savage. I'm Savage. Paul David Savage L. So just Savage L is fine.
Savage L.
And for all those who think Savage is a wild, crazy beast, Savage means of the woods. The wild, crazy beast comes out when you didn't appreciate the hospitality that was rendered to you.
Can I put my
Tax law, too. I mean, Noah Webster.
Put my email in the chat, because I ain't too good on the computer, so.
Yeah, I put it in the chat room, but it's high frequency, HIGHFREQUENCY BLOGTALK @gmail.com.
Okay.
It's high frequency. It's all one word. High frequency blog talk @gmail.com.
Okay, and my name is Vivian Lee.
Okay, Vivian. Yeah, I see you in the chat room, Vivian. And I want to ride off of what he just said about the affidavit real quick. I put in the chat room a link to an affidavit of truth, and I want to talk about this affidavit of truth. Or a lot of people used to know about the term affidavit of sovereignty. And the reason I wanted to talk about this affidavit of sovereignty, it's a boilerplate document. I do not like boilerplate documents. However, this particular document is rife, replete with a lot of good information. And the purpose of this document is to rebut the minimum contacts that establish you with these invisible contracts that are giving them jurisdiction over you. In other words, the government is presuming, because of your conduct, that they have some type of authority over you due to the fact that you have contracted with them. Now, what I liked about this document, I'm going to read the first part of it, and y'all, because I know some of y'all are probably rolling or something like that, but listen to this real close. And the reason, let me tell you real quick, some background on this document. I put this document in a federal case, and a federal prosecutor went ballistic. Did not like it, wanted to rebut it, didn't get a chance to, because I was on the ass in court. But it was something about this particular document that she did not like, and I've always remembered that. And I see that people file these with their UCC-1s when they give notice and different things like that. And it is a document that I have come to utilize quite often. and put into cases. But I don't think you should ever put something into a case unless you have read it and you understand it thoroughly. Now, what this is let me read this real quick. It says, be it known to all who call themselves government, their courts, agents, and other parties that I, and then you're going to put your name right there, am a natural free, I'm sorry?
All caps?
Yeah, no. Put your name in upper and lower case. Use the appellation of your Christian name.
Okay.
All right. I'm a free, born, sovereign individual without subjects. I'm neither subject to any entity anywhere, nor is any entity subject to me. I neither dominate anyone, nor am I dominated. I'm not a person as defined in statutes, when such definition includes artificial entities. I refuse to be treated as a federally or state-created entity which is only capable of exercising certain rights, privileges, or immunities as specifically granted by federal or state governments. I may voluntarily choose to comply with the laws which others attempt to impose upon me, but no such laws nor their enforcers have any authority over me. I'm not in any jurisdiction, for I'm not of subject status. Unless I have willfully harmed or violated someone or someone's property without their consent, I have not committed any crime and therefore not subject to any penalty. All right? Now, thus, be it known to all that I reserve my natural right not to be compelled to perform under any contract that I did not enter into knowingly, voluntarily, and intentionally. Furthermore, I do not accept the liability associated with the compelled and pretended benefit of any hidden or unrevealed contract or commercial agreement. That is a very important line. That goes back to UCC 1-308, reservation of rights. Reservation of your rights is a remedy that we can use in any situation, traffic tickets, court cases, any situation. Now it goes on. I'm sorry?
Would you say affidavit of rights?
What's a reservation of your rights? That's what that line I just read, that's what it was, UCC 1-308, reserving all of your rights. Now, the next line, it goes on to say, it says, as such, the hidden or unrevealed contracts that supposedly create obligations to perform for persons of subject status are inapplicable to me and are null and void. If I participated in any of the supposed benefits associated with these hidden contracts, I've done so under duress for lack of any other practical alternative. I may have received such benefits, but I have not accepted them in a manner that binds me to anything. Any such participation does not constitute acceptance because of the absence of full disclosure of any valid offer and voluntary consent without misrepresentation or coercion. Without a valid voluntary offer and acceptance knowingly entered into by both parties, there is no meeting of the minds and therefore no valid contract. Any supposed contract is therefore void from the beginning, and as the word void of initio. He just wrote it out. Meeting of the minds is a legal term that you should know about. You need to have a meeting of the minds to have. Well, actually, they're saying now that you don't have to have a meeting of the minds to be in a contract. That's kind of archaic, but that is something that you want to look into.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up. That's also what they're fraud. That's fraud. That you don't have to have the meeting of the minds to establish a contract.
But when you read in the Uniform Commercial Code, it will tell you almost expressly that fraud is permissible if it's acquiesced to.
Okay, but listen to what you just said. That's them pushing the ball down the field. That's them testing the limits, stretching the limits.
Well, it is because they putting the responsibility on you.
Well, that's fine. That's why you call it fraud. You rebut it. They're only making assumptions. You rebut them. That's why we rebut them.
Exactly. You rebut the presumption because it's like they said it's not fraud until you call it fraud. Because it's like if somebody's doing something fraudulent to you and you okay with it, then is it really fraud? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's like, I understand why they're saying it. It is fraud because they're not giving you full disclosure. They're doing sleight of hand tricks. They're doing all that. But if you never say nothing,
not just that. What are they rendering? What are they contributing? What are they rendering? They're not rendering anything.
Nothing.
public
They're
service.
rendering an opportunity for you to do what you can do anyway. Oh, but by the way, now it's going to cost you, and it's a contract. We can do what we want to you because you did it. That's all they're rendering. They're not bringing anything to the table. They're not offering anything. But you, on the other hand, are giving them your energy and access to your trust when you sign it.
They're going to claim, though, that the inference from that they take is that they are accessing your trust, but they're doing it for your benefit and privilege because they're creating a world for you, roads, movie theaters, shopping malls, grocery stores, all these different gas stations, all these different things that are in operation. They need that's for us. So as a public servant, yeah, they're accessing our trust accounts, but they are trustees of those accounts, and they know how to competently make sure that that money goes to the best use, and we don't. So, that's kind of, that's what the implied or the unspoken, thing is going on behind the scenes. It's like, yeah, we're accessing your account, but we're accessing this for your benefit. Because I'll tell you the truth, when you look at these municipal bonds, like when these court cases, they are building things. They're building like hospitals, schools, public work projects for the water department, all this type of stuff. Now, is that money really going into those projects? And, and maybe it's somebody under the table who maybe their friend owns the construction company that's going to do it. I'm sure all that's going on. But at the same time, these are for us, apparently, supposedly. And you can see this when you look into those municipal funds, because I've gone as far as to look and see, okay, what is in this fund that they are putting all these court cases into? And that's what you're going to see. So that's why I'm not as quick to that's why I really like that document, creditors and their bonds, and it's also why I'm not as quick to start screaming at the government, calling them evil and all these different things like that. The biggest evil is ignorance, and it's been our ignorance. And the suffering is primarily due to our ignorance. It's not necessarily them per se. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it's them per se, because we signed, our ancestors agreed upon a Republican form of government, and what they've got going is a democratic, a demo capitalistic enslavement internment camp going on. That's what they got going on. So listen, I'll be the one to do the screaming and hollering about the fraud for you. So you'll have to know that. I'll be the one to do that for you. Here's the real deal that we really, that's why I'm saying you just don't know how much appreciation I have for you. Because anytime anybody who can get me to see something different, because I'm an arrogant kind of guy, and you get me to see something different. So if you get me to see something different, I consider you sent from above, and imposed into my presence to bring me to a different place that I need to be at.
Right, but and the reason I can do that is because I felt like that. Like I said, I had the privilege of actually speaking to some attorneys and some public people in private, and they just kind of gave me some information to make me think about. And I might say, man, I might be looking at this the wrong way. Because at first I was pissed off, too. I mean, y'all think I'm a slave, man? What the hell wrong? Ain't no man's slave. Crazy as hell. So I had that type of attitude. But slowly over time, I began to form, a different picture began to form. And I began to, because I'm real big on responsibility. A lot of people don't like responsibility. They don't want to be responsible. They don't even want to be responsible for their own thoughts. That's why they don't like that law of attraction thing, because the law of attraction says that you can have whatever you ask for. If you just think about something a couple of minutes a day, whatever you want and ask for it, you can have it. And it's even in their Christian Bible, in the Mark 11:22. Have faith in God, then it tells you whatever you ask for. You can tell this mountain to be cast in the sea, and if you don't doubt it in your heart, whatever you ask for, you shall have. Same thing. But people don't want that responsibility. They want to lean on somebody else. They want to lean on Jesus. They want to lean on Muhammad. They want to lean on Buddha. They want to lean on their government. They don't want to take any responsibility. And that's what this whole thing is about. People learning how to start to take responsibility for their own affairs.
let me finish this real quick. Then I see we got some people in the have their hands up. Let me finish it real quick because I wanted to show you these points on about these driver's license and all of this stuff. It goes on and says, any such participation does not constitute acceptance because of the absence of full disclosure of any valid offer and voluntary consent without misrepresentation or coercion. Without a valid voluntary offer and acceptance knowingly entered into by both parties, there is no meeting of the minds and therefore no valid contract. Any supposed contract is therefore void from the beginning. From my age of consent, that means, or they called it also the age of maturity, to the date affixed below, I have never signed a contract knowingly, willingly, intelligently, voluntarily, and intentionally, whereby I have waived any of my natural inherent rights, and as such, take notice that I revoke, cancel, and make void from the beginning my signature on any and all contracts, agreements, forms, or any instrument which may be construed in any way to give any agency or department of any government or any authority, venue, or jurisdiction over me. And that's what's happening. They're taking all the contracts you signed through your life and using that as evidence that they have some type of contractual agreement with you, all right? And you don't even know all this. So he goes into this point by point. He talks about the birth certificate. He talks about the use of Federal Reserve notes. He talks about the use of bank accounts. He talks about the use of a driver's license. And in the driver's license, he gets in there and says, I got to have a driver's license because if y'all don't have one, you're going to pull me over and threaten me and have your hand on your gun and all this, come up to the door. You know, I know I don't have to have a driver's license, but you threaten the hell out of me if I don't. State plates on the car, same thing. You got a lot of guys out there trying to take their plates off the car, and they're getting pulled over and getting harassed. This is why you put all this stuff in a trust, too. The use of a passport. Filing of tax returns. Your voter registration. Y'all, that's a big one that y'all don't know about. All your people like to vote. Let's go out to vote.
It's the first time I ain't voted in 30 years.
Voting is for government employees. That's what voting is for, not for private citizens. We could care less, really, who the president is. Right. Private people who operate in private really could care less who the president is. Citizenship. The Constitution. And then it even gets into a real one that talks about use of semantics, the words that they use. And I like this. It says, there are some immature people with mental imbalances, such as the craving to dominate other people who masquerade as government and call the noises and scribbles that emanate from their mouths and pens the law, which must be obeyed. Just because they alter definitions of words in their law books to their supposed advantage doesn't mean I accept those definitions. The fact that they define the words person, address, mail, motor vehicle, driving, passenger, employee, income, and many others in ways different from our common usage so as to be associated with a subject or slave status means nothing in real life. Because the courts have become entangled in the game of semantics, be it known to all courts and parties that if I have ever signed any document or spoken any words on record using words defined by twisting the law books different from the common usage, there can be no effect whatsoever on my sovereign status in society thereby, nor can there be created an obligation to perform in any manner. By the mere use of such words, where the definition in the Common Dictionary differs from the definition in the Law Dictionary, it is the definition in the Common Dictionary that prevails because it is more trustworthy. Now, this is real interesting. It gets into a revocation of power of attorney. It talks about, and this is actually one that is not the big one. There's another one. Let me see if that has even more information in it than this one does. This one is like a short form, really. But you can get on the Internet and you can Google affidavit of sovereignty, and you will see all of these on the Internet, people filing these affidavits of sovereignty. And I put one in the court, and it was very effective. Very, very effective. Very effective. Here's another nice one right here that I just pulled up. I'm going to put it in the chat room as well. But you can send this to your local governments, file this with a UCC-1. What this document does, it rebuts the presumptions that you have contracted. Remember, I told you all about a word that y'all should look up. It's called minimum contacts. That's what they use. What are the minimum contacts? In other words, what contact have you had with government that will allow them to make a presumption or an assumption that they have some type of authority over you?
Now, see, I love that you're bringing that to the table, but I also believe that evidences the malice, the fraud, and the maliciousness intentions.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but you got to understand contract law. In contract law, you got verbal contracts, you have implied contracts, you have express contracts. The implied contracts is what getting everybody, because you can get in a contract. We contract with each other every day. Contract is the major thing in the world. Even God makes contract with men. God does it when he makes a covenant. So contracts is a very, very big thing, and they come in so many different forms that people aren't aware of them. But that is why we have to be educated. You got to learn how to live in society. We have to learn how to live, learn how to interact with our fellow men.
I think that you're absolutely correct, and it's also evidence of the fraud because they're not trying to teach you.
Is it their responsibility to teach us in public schools?
No,
or is that something that we should do in the private of our homes?
The creator of a thing is required to teach the participants of what they are involved in because they created it. I'm not dispelling or displacing or ignoring the lack. How come we weren't taught in our homes? Because the folks in our homes didn't know either. And there's been a dumbing down going on since before the Constitution was entered into. The dumbing down was taking place. The Christian Black Codes were written in 1724, denying access of education, taking away identity, taking away nationality, making labels and brands. They were plotting on this before there was a Constitution. This was going on while they were under the Articles of Confederacy. So,
well, you know there is a maxim of law that states ignorance of the law is no excuse.
There's also a maxim of law that says he who would be deceived, let him.
Yes, sure is.
Okay. And that still speaks to malicious intent. You're talking to a man who used to be a drug addict. I never sold anybody any drugs because I'd rather use them myself. Because there was no malicious intent in my using of drugs. Why should I sell some drugs to make some money when I'd rather enjoy them myself? No malicious intent. A drug dealer selling drugs won't sell them to his mother, his sister, his friends. They got to get them from someplace else because he feels the evil that's going on in his affair, in his commercial activity. He has a sense of conscience in his commercial activity that's relevant for certain people in his circle, but totally irrelevant for all of his customers because there's some malicious intent involved. So we have to be enlightened and awakened to a very large number of things, but we also have to understand, like you said, you can't be an enemy of the state. By no means am I an enemy of the state, but by no means am I naive to the malicious intent of the state.
I understand what you're saying. Let's take a few calls. Yeah, I seem like you touched some nerves on some of that stuff. Let me bring in a couple of people. 484-3034, you're on High Frequency Radio. 484-3034, yeah, 3034, you're on High Frequency Radio. Area code 484.
What?
Can you hear me? Could you hear me?
I'm muted.
Okay. Let me go to area code 804-0596. You're on High Frequency Radio.
Peace, Yusef. This Kufu. Look, my sister had some insurance with Global Life, right? And they refused to pay her policy. It's a pretty big one. I got your email, and be on the lookout, all right?
All right, okay. Even with that, though, they got procedures for, you need to look at those insurance policies very carefully. You need to read the contract. One thing about these people now, they are very, very good at what they do. But go ahead and send it to me, and I'll look out for it, okay?
Okay, look, now see my sister, right? She know the insurance, business and everything, right? But she don't know how to defend herself legally. And the lawyer had to get 2 lawyers, and she on her 3rd lawyer now. Her son got killed last year, and she just going through it, man. So I'm going to, shoot you an email on some information and everything. And I'd like for you to talk to her one-on-one.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
All right. You're welcome. Peace. 484-3034. You're on High Frequency Radio. Sound like they're in the bathtub. But anyway, back to what we were saying about rebutting these presumptions. I agree with what you're saying as far as the maliciousness of the government. I do see it. Trust me. I've been in the pit, and I do see that these people can be very dishonorable. But I'm thinking it's springing, like I said, when I was going through all of this, it came from how I was being viewed. I started to get the sense that I was being viewed as a heathen. That's why I did the shows on the heathen. Because they like, you are a godless man. You eat the wrong foods. Your conduct, is not God. It's just that I just started to get the sense that what I thought constituted being a man was not really what it was. It was like, I think there's some other things going on here. And that's where the spiritual aspect of it started to come into play. Because, we talk about the common law and, and all these things. Well, with the common law, you're talking about really the, laws that are all common to man, which basically, takes you back to, to some type of religious book or, the laws of nature. So I started to kind of investigate that. And I came to the conclusion that what is being pushed in our society, what we're calling a free society, people are kind of being encouraged to engage in a lot of immoral activities. Our family structure is broken down. People are getting divorces very easily now. They even try to hold the family together. Sex is just viewed as, it's not, we don't even study the ramifications of sex. People are not even interested in the spiritual aspect of sex. You just have sex because it just feels good. We just do things that feel good. We're just pleasure seekers. And because of that fact, when you start dealing with these courts, I started, because I got into this real deep, I started to see some other things other than us, you just broke a law, or what they want to call the law. We told you not to do that, and you did it, so now you got to go to jail, or you got to pay a fine. It went a little deeper than that. And that's also why I started the show today talking about health, because I think our health has something to do with it, because these are our temples, where the Holy Spirit of the Most High is supposed to reside. And we're polluting our temples. I saw a document on sugar, man. Man, this scientist, man, he came up and he showed this thing, sugar. It was about sugar and salt. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick.
You got to tell me how long it takes sugar to leave your body.
Man, sugar is so poisonous. That refined sugar, they got us say, oh, okay, I'm putting it in there. I'm putting it in. I found it. I'm about to put it in the chat room right now, the link. And what it was with this experiment, it's called Will It Light. And what this doctor did, he was showing how the body needs salt, not sugar. It needs salt. I'm putting the link up right now. This was it's in the chat room. This video was so good to me because it showed in very simple terms what sugar does to your body and what salt does to your body. The body is electrical. It runs off of electricity. Even your brain signals that are coming from your brain are coming. They're electrical signals, and they're mapping these electrical signals, and they're now actually developing bionic parts for people, bionic body parts. They actually have body parts now that will respond to your brain. They got this. Respond to the electrical signal. They got go on YouTube. They got people with bionic arms and hands moving just like a regular human hand. It's responding from the commands of the mind. They got this now. This is not the future. But anyway, this salt and sugar is showing, that when you put sugar in your body, it kills all the electrical signals in your body. And that's why you get tired and you feel lethargic. And it's not talking about refined salt. You have to have like a sea salt or a real salt. Salt is what, and I started to think, I said, you know what? He said, when we cry, we have tears. And I remember this. I said, the human body is an exact replica of the planet Earth. Everything that is on the planet Earth is in the human body. We have all the elements. You have fire. Because when your body temperature is 98.6 degrees, you breathe in oxygen, you breathe out carbon dioxide. That is the same thing fire does. Fire needs oxygen to burn, and when it burns, it gives off carbon dioxide. You have earth. Your body is made of dirt. You have water. Your body's 75% water. And you have air. You breathe in oxygen. You need the oxygen to flow through the blood and through the cells. So you have the four elements, and you have the fifth element, which is the ether, which people call the spirit, that is in the blood and it's in the semen. And then I noticed also that the water that's in our body is salt. Our body is 75% water. The earth is 75% water. The earth has the water in the earth is salt water, and the earth is alive. The water in our body is salt. That's why when we cry, the tears are salty. You need salt. The earth has blood. The oil that they're taking out and using for gasoline is the blood of the earth. They're killing the earth. You call it oil. You have blood running through you. The earth is a living entity. And that's when we got to learn how to get back in harmony with the planet. And anybody who's not in harmony with the planet is like some type of parasite, some type of virus that needs to be eliminated because you're plaguing it. Just like when you get a virus in your body, you want to get it out of your body. It's not doing anything harmonious with the body. So all these kind of things I took into consideration, and what it means to be a real creditor, what it really means to be a caretaker. A creditor is a caretaker of the world. You can't be a creditor, then you're going to go to the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation, get access to $100 million so you can get you a Benz and put it on 22s and drive around and tell everybody, look what I got and look what you don't got. That type of mentality is what this is not for. This is not for that. And you will never have access to it if you have it. They're going to make sure of it. You won't. You won't ever be able to reach that height.
Because to pass through that door, there's a character assessment. And until you can demonstrate love for your fellow man, that you have some type of concern for your fellow man and taking care of your fellow man, you can never have the status of creditor. This ain't about just filling out paperwork. This is about who you are. You can't apply to be a sovereign. You have to be sovereign. There's no application to fill out for that. You don't think these people know that you can pull documents off of the internet and fill in the blanks and send it to them, certified mail? Or are you sending a document that you thoroughly understand? That's why I showed y'all these videos today. These are videos that, from my experience, from my knowledge that I have, and I know there are other people going through the same thing. I know there are other people out there who have researched, who are diligently engaged in this. So I'm sharing that with you guys. Here's some other individuals like me. So you can take that and start doing your own research, because I'm just one man. I'm just one man. We got to turn off those televisions and start reading again.
Got to buy books to read, man.
We got to read.
What we've been doing, we have been massively printing. I've got so many empty ink cartridges in my house, it ain't funny.
Me too, man. I read. So, and you know the thing, but I don't read just everything all day, every day. But I make sure I read at least a page or two of something every day.
Man, listen, I'm trying to find binders and put 3 hole punches in it and put it in binders. Because, like you said, I was a prepper. I was looking for this thing to shut the hell down, and I wanted to have as much literature as I can. And I'm still printing. I'm going to print as long as it's up. And you all need to realize the first thing they do, what they do when they went into Libya. They plundered the museums, and they plundered the libraries. What they do when they went into, what did Iraq do when they went into Kuwait?
People don't even know in Iraq, they raided so many tombs in Iraq. People don't know that Iraq is ancient Babylon. Well, all your Sumerian documents and everything, that's Samaria. That's Mesopotamia. The U.S. soldiers went over there and raided something. They said so many sites and everything that scientists hadn't had a chance to look into, and people don't even know that.
Yeah. But see, it's the process. It is what they do. Why the reason that history is written by the conqueror is because he destroys everything when he gets there and hides it. It's not destroyed. They hid it. They gave it to the Vatican. It's sitting in the Vatican basement. The plunder of the planet has been the Vatican. You think that you said, I like what you said about them pumping the oil and killing the planet. They don't need oil.
They don't need oil.
100 years ago to make oil obsolete. There was technology available 100 years ago to make oil obsolete. They don't want it obsolete. The powers that be control the oil. They're using the oil to control the people. Because if the people could grow plants that they could make fuel from, they wouldn't need to dig in the ground for no oil. And if they can dig in the ground to find the oil, how the hell come they don't get the water and give it to the people? Because we always find water before they find oil.
Listen.
Find oil. The oil sits on top. The water sits on top of the oil. So they can dig that far to find oil. Why don't they dig down to find water to feed all them people that's over there dying of thirst in the African continent? Because it's not on their damn agenda.
I had a document a long time ago how to make your car run off water. You know, hydrogen, people don't understand that water and fire are reciprocals of each other. That's why you can make a hydrogen bomb. You can pull fire out of water. You can make a car run off of water. But
go ahead.
It's this interesting article I want to read real quick. It's the plunder of Iraq's treasures in Caracas. 1 million books, 10 million documents, and 14,000 archaeological artifacts have been lost in the U.S.-led invasion and subsequent occupation of Iraq. The biggest cultural disaster since the descendants of Genghis Khan destroyed Baghdad in 1258, Venezuelan writer Fernando Baez told Interpress Service. U.S. and Polish soldiers are still stealing treasures today and selling them across the borders with Jordan and Kuwait, where art merchants pay up to $57,000 for a Sumerian tablet, said Baez, who was interviewed during a brief visit to Caracas. A Sumerian tablet is pictured at the right. And you go ahead and read this. I put this link to this article. I knew about this a while. Now, this is going on. Why this didn't make the news? They over in Iraq selling all of this stuff, going into these temples who they haven't had a chance. Because see, if you don't understand, like Egypt has only been like probably about 20% of Egypt has been excavated. People don't understand there are ancient civilizations all over this planet we have not even begun to scratch the surface on. Civilizations have come and gone. Man, we're running out of time.
Yeah, this is a great show, my brother.
We're running out of time.
Great show. Listen, it doesn't matter. We're going to do what we can do. We're going to drive on through. We're going to drive on through.
We got 5 minutes left.
Well,
tomorrow.
Y'all listen, if you're listening to us and you haven't went and gotten yourself a law book and an old dictionary, then I ain't sure. You must be a what they call them, a spy or mold or something. That should be the first thing you understand to do. Let me go get me a law dictionary and let me go get me an old dictionary. But when you start looking at words and realizing that they don't mean what you think they mean, and that you've been using them, and they've been holding you to the use that you're using them for, even though you don't know what the hell it means. When you say, I'm the person, I reside, I'm black, I'm African American, you're using words, and they're holding you to these words, but you have no freaking idea what they mean. Those are those invisible contracts that my brothers keep talking about. You are using words to implicate invisible contracts because you don't understand what you're saying. And they're holding you to them. And they're treating you like it. So you got to study. You got to free your mind, and the rest will follow.
Let me take a call real quick. We got about 4 minutes left. 404-1031, you're on High Frequency Radio. How can I help you?
Yes, this is High Goog again. I'd like to make a last comment about to share something with y'all about words. Words are powerful. Every letter in the alphabet has life to it when you speak it out of your mouth. That's how powerful words is. This is something I was taught, learned, from hearing other inspirational speakers. But white man put alphabets in words, because Egyptian words was mostly consonants, and I mean not vowels, consonants and vowels. It was just consonants, and the consonants is what has the power in it. When every consonant that comes out of your mouth has a living, they are alive. It has life to it. So when you go around here speaking to other people and you just cursing and doing all this, putting a curse on each other's spirit by using hostile words, you don't even realize it because most people don't even walk in their spirit.
That's right, brother. But hey, I don't mean to cut you off. We only got about a minute or so left. We're going to have to end this call. We're going to continue this tomorrow. Same bat time, same back channel. I appreciate all the support. Our show is really growing. And we're gonna be back tomorrow, same time. So come in. We got a very good show lined up for you tomorrow. And you got anything else you want to say, Brother Paul, before we leave?
No, my brother. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Okay, we will see you tomorrow. Time's about to run out. I don't mean to cut out anybody off, but we will see you tomorrow at the same time on High Frequency Radio. See you later. Peace. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.